my name's Mandy and welcome to my YouTube channel Pixie Stitch. Life is so creative, and today I'm participating in the Friday Sews tag. This was set up by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. I'll pop a link in down below. So the first question is, what is your name? So as you know, my name is Mandy and I live in the northwest of England and on the South Cheshire border. So the next question is, what is your job and do you sew for a career? Well, I was a registered general nurse. I'm still on the register. I am now retired. However, to the latter part of my career I was office based and I still do a few hours working from home. Same for a career. I do make quilts, and they're usually baby quilts, and people will usually ask me to customize them with a quilt label, which I use my embroidery machine for. And I also have an online shop. I sell through Folksy, although my shop is empty at the moment. I have been asked in the past to make alterations for people, which I decline, because that to me is the worst sewing task ever. So I do make quilts, so as you can say, I don't make a career out of it, but I do enjoy doing that. So what are your machines? Well, I can tell you that I've got this embroidery machine, and I'll pop a photograph up and talk about that. So this is my Brother Innovis 750E embroidery machine. I didn't know anything about this at all. I came in from work one day and my partner had purchased this for me as a surprise. I use this for customised labels for my quilts. Yeah, it gives a more professional look. And also I'm thinking in the summertime of embroidering fabric to make some little dresses for my grandchildren. This is my overlocker. It's a Hobbylock 2.0. I do find it rather difficult, I must admit, to thread up. It's a little bit fiddly for me. So I only tend to use this when I really need to. So maybe there's a clue in the name. It is a bit of a faff to thread. So this is my machine. This is an Elna 6600 quilting machine, and I bought this from Sewing Machines Direct a few years ago. So what I like about this is it's got a very deep throat, so when I'm quilting I can roll my quilts up. Okay, so with normal domestic sewing machines you don't have such a deep throat, so this is one of the beauties of this. It has lots and lots of different feet. Okay, and I've also got other feet what I use, such as a walking foot and a free motion. What I like about this machine as well is, let me just see, you'll see here there's a start stop button. So when you free motion quilt, you drop your feed dogs down. Okay, so that, for those of you who don't know, that's that squiggly pattern you see. So you drop your feed dogs down, you alter your pressure on your foot, and you put what's called a darning foot on. I might have a darning, yeah, this is my darning foot. So that goes up and down, okay. It's got a spring on it. So you can do this free motion. Thing is with free motion quilting is you have to get a rhythm between your speed and your foot control. Okay, but with this you can actually disengage the foot control by just taking the foot pedal off, and you can press this start and stop here and it will automatically sew. So all you have to do really is concentrate on your speed and how you are pushing that fabric around. So that's what I like about this machine. You've also got lots of different, and as you can see, if I just tilt my camera up, you can see all the different stitches as well I've got on here. So there's quite a few embroidery stitches as well. And even though it's a quilting machine, it does have the section what comes off so you can do your sleeves and things. But the good thing about this is it's got another attachment what goes on it. So I'm just moved back a little bit and I've put the other attachment on, which is this. So this is really good for when you're actually got your quilt on here, because you've got this extra space for the quilting. So yeah, that's my sewing machine. And I absolutely love it. So yeah, love the sewing machine. It's my pride and joy. Next question is, how long have you been sewing? And I've also incorporated another question into this: do I sew for others? So I've been sewing, I would say, on and off for 48 years. My first garment, I made a skirt, and I talk about that in my last vlog. I made a skirt when I was 11 years old through school, and then I started work on the sewing factory when I was 16 for a short period of time, and then started making garments when I was 20. Stopped sewing, I think it was early 90s, and that was because I trained up to be a nurse and I had a family. And to be honest, at the time, it was far cheaper to buy clothes. There was no online stores, obviously, because we didn't have the internet, and our local fabric shop had closed. So, to be honest, there was no nowhere local what sold fabric at the time. So it sort of put a bit of a stop to that. And then I started sewing again a few years ago and making clothes for myself. And then, of course, I was really inspired by Sew Over It. So I used to love on a Saturday morning choosing patterns from Sew Over It and fabric. And I think that's why I've got such a big stash. But just of late, I've started to sew more for others, and those are my grandchildren. So when I started sewing when I was 20, more garments for myself, there were sewing classes available at night school. However, you had to pay for these, and I self-taught by reading the patterns and also reading a lot of sewing books. Knits or wovens? I do tend to like wearing knits. I love wearing knits because they're nice and comfy, and like Tilly and the Buttons always say, the secret pyjamas. But I prefer to sew with wovens because I think the fabric choice is greater. So yeah, I'm going to say wovens. Big four or indie? I do like indie patterns. I enjoy seeing the different patterns that people bring out. However, a lot of the indie patterns are PDF, and I prefer already put together patterns. So I do tend to like the big four. And what I do is I buy my big four patterns from Jaycott's near Chester online, and wait until they have a sale. And so I'll get my patterns half price. So yeah, big four. Online or store? Well, I think that means for buying fabric, and it's definitely got to be store. I think you can't really see the true colours no matter how hard the seller tries when they upload photographs onto the internet. Many a time I've purchased fabric and either the design is a lot bigger than what I thought it was going to be, or the colour is completely different. So I do prefer to see the fabrics. However, you get a better choice when you look online because there's far more shops you can reach. So there's a little bit of both really, and obviously at the moment in the UK we are in lockdown. Non-essential shops are not open, so all our shopping is currently online. Favourite sewing task? My favourite sewing task I think is hemming, because I know I'm near the end of the garment and I do enjoy a little bit of hand sewing. Although I can blind hem on the sewing machine, I much prefer to hand stitch the hem. Best advice for sewing would be do not sew when you're tired. I have made so many mistakes when I'm tired. So yeah, that is the biggest advice that was the greatest advice I'd give. As soon as you start feeling tired, stop your sewing. The other thing I would say as well is measure twice, cut once. That's the old adage, because many a time I've accidentally cut the wrong size, especially with quilting. You know, I think I'm cutting a 2.5 and before I know it I've cut 3-inch strip. So yeah, measure twice, cut once. And Friday Sews, how did you find out about this? Well, I found out through Kathy from Hide and Silk. She mentioned Friday Sews. I saw the hashtag in her description box, so I thought, oh, what's this? I had watched Jen, and when she'd said welcome to Friday Sews, I didn't realise it was a tag until I watched Kathy from Hide and Silk, so that's how I found out. So I hope you enjoyed this tag, and until next time, bye.